Hey y'all. Hope all is well. Let's see. Is this camera starts to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Hey y'all. Hello, hello. Come on in. I said I was gonna never say stuff like that. Come on in. Hope y'all doing well. I can't see who's on here as of yet. Hey, Janelle, Liz, Charity. Oh, this is just. I'm trying out this new way of doing this thing. So I'll have to be back here in a second. We're going to talk about showing affection. That's what we talk about tonight. We're going to talk about showing affection and how showing affection has affected us as children from one generation to another, and how you're going to have to change the narrative with your children, and they're going to have to change the narrative with their children. So we're going to talk about showing affection. Now everybody's, I can't see the
because you didn't put it up. Okay,
hold on a second.
What?
Trying to make sure we getting some of this stuff right. There we go.
That's good.
Okay.
You know, he sets up.
I'm just trying to make sure I can do it right.
You did it right. But you can see from there, I need to use mine. Oh, you use that. Okay. I'll need to use.
You use your phone? Or is this
Well,
not vibrate?
I mean, yours is on, right? So I can just use yours. Hi, people. We didn't even have no music today.
No, we didn't have no music. See, that's what if I'd have just anyway. Okay, we were watching Hoarders, so
yeah, we watch. You know,
all the way up to the end.
There's often, I mean, you don't really see like
African American people,
black folk
who are hoarders on Hoarders, and so
they were on today.
We were kind of entertained today about that.
We were all into it. That's what happened. Anyway, I feel like we're so far back though. The camera seems a little high, but I don't want to mess with it right now because
we'll deal with that next week. Right now, we just gonna do what we
Keith
gotta do.
set us up today, so we're a little and this little setup just seems a little different, but we're all right. We got this. We got this. So I'll use my phone to be able. I'm not hating on you. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like when you did the thing, you didn't see that it was a little high. Like you don't feel like high for you.
No, I just kind of left it. Do I need to just adjust it?
I mean, it just feels like it's almost like we're on it like a...
I can adjust it a bit.
No. That's not how you adjust it.
Why not?
No, you adjust it from there.
From where?
There.
From where?
That's not right there, the middle.
Oh, you talking about bringing it down?
Yes. Okay, just a little. There you go.
Oh.
You see?
All right,
now,
we
do
good,
you feel
y'all.
like you're yeah, because it looked like we were like in an ocean, and our head was
doing
like this.
That.
Yes.
Okay, so we're good.
All right.
We good.
Oh, too low.
That's too low.
No. Too low as far as the...
What's too low?
I mean, the sound.
The sound?
Okay, wait a minute. Y'all...
There we go. See, I don't
Can y'all hear us now?
Are we good? Are we loud enough?
We're not close to the... So we're going to have to speak up because we're not close to the setup.
Okay. So y'all can hear
All right,
clear.
Are we good? Crystal said we sound too... Do we still sound too far? We have to turn up the speaker. That's not how you turn that up.
Well, look.
So let us see here now, because I just turned it up a bit.
Oh, Crystal said better.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll have to talk louder on this one. It's only because we do not have...
We're not close to the
actual speaker that's on the computer. Right. So that's why.
So that's
all right.
But y'all good.
Okay, so is it super low now? She said it's better. Crystal says it's better. Charity, do you think that it's better?
Y'all know
We'll
it's better.
just have
Can
to
we
talk
hear?
louder. That's what's gonna have to happen. You know what we should have done?
What?
We should have hooked our. Okay, never. We'll have to do that next week. So we have to talk loud right now because the computer is a little further than anticipated.
Than our normal whatever. So that's
Why
what
are
we
you
do.
moving
I just moved it.
it?
I just moved it off. It wasn't straight. So there we go. All right.
Are we good to go? Yes. Thumbs up. We can get started.
Yes, you thought it was my hearing.
I had to turn up the computer a little bit because we're using the internal computer, the speaker on the computer, but the computer is a little further than what it normally is, so that's why. But we think we're good now. Okay.
Where the food?
You know, that's the thing. We can't allow the smacking on the live because Keith gets a little.
It's all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Had some bomb poor man burritos though yesterday. Woo. Okay.
Oh, I'm just listening.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah,
No,
we had some bomb poor man burritos yesterday, and some bomb lasagna yesterday. So good, so good. So anyway, we're gonna jump right into where we're gonna be tonight because we want to talk about affection and how again one generation affects another generation as it relates to showing love and showing affection.
You're really gonna have to talk louder because it is low.
I'm really gonna talk loud?
Yeah. Go.
Because I turned that down.
No, I'm just saying because I'm listening to it.
Okay. So, affection. Affection from one generation to the other generation. Showing your kids love, hugging them, kissing them, affirming them, and how it has affected us and how it's going to affect your children and your grandchildren.
Charity says generational affection. Absolutely.
Generational affection. There you go.
Generational affection or the lack thereof, right? Because I think that's really what it is. It's the lack thereof. It's not a problem if you automatically shows affection to your children or you were taught to show affection, love and affection to your children. Then it kind of passes down from generation. It's like the norm. It's like the thing that you do all the time. Well, in most of the people that I know, in most families, we grew up in the hood. And in our hood, affection wasn't the thing to do. Most of us in our community grew up with our grandparents. Either, my friends' parents were on drugs. My mother, and I didn't know who my father was, but my mother was deceased. And so on our whole entire block in South Central LA was grandparents raising grandchildren. My grandmother came from Indianola, Mississippi. She's from the Mississippi Delta. She was a sharecropper. She come from a family and a lineage of sharecroppers, and affection wasn't something that was passed down in our family. When you were very, very small, she had an 8th grade education, but my great grandmother had like a 5th grade education. You went to work. You picked cotton at a very young age, and so when you came out of the womb, once you got off the breast, you went to the field. And so there wasn't
on the back of the truck to Florida.
That's as they got older. But it was there. It was the purpose was to work, and it wasn't a lot of. And
you didn't have a lot of time.
I wonder
to just be foo hug.
Right, but I don't know if it was ever seen as. I don't know if it was seen as a sign of weakness. The way it was perceived to me is that it showed weakness if you had, it created a soft kid when you wanted that kid to go out. You can't have this kid whining in the field, right? You got to be able to work. And so in order for you to be able to work, we don't have time for you to be cuddly under me or be up under me or be soft under me. I need you to get out there and do what you got to do.
And don't be whining and wasting time.
Because time is money. Right? You had so many bundles or loads of cotton to pick. And so I know for my family, as doing the assessment of my family, I know where ours come from. What also happened in my family is that everybody is very, very, very independent. Everybody works as there is no sense of like birthdays. Everybody come together for a birthday. That didn't exist. Holidays, you may see a few people. Well, actually, we only saw my uncle, and then that's it. Like you didn't have this thing where it was like generations of like people coming together. So when I had my children or our children, we were
they was jacked up.
No, starting off. No. They were in for a ride because
we had to learn a lot of the things that we
right.
didn't, that were not done to us. I was telling my wife, the one thing that I do recall is the only person in my family who would really kiss me, grab my face, hug me, and she's gone on now, is Hanyuti. She would grab my face, she would kiss my face. She's the only one that ever did that. But as far as everything else, we didn't really, I didn't hear I love you. I love you was not a term. It was just understood.
Yeah.
It was understood in the house. But we knew, going to work, said I love you. My grandparents
food in your belly.
Food in your belly. I love you.
A roof over your head.
Right. You took a bath. You had water. All that said, I love you.
Right.
Because you went to work sick, didn't want to go, didn't feel like it, whatever.
Right.
You did it. So your job was just to go to school, do what you're supposed to do. That showed, hey, you live in here. This is my love.
So when you have children, now what has happened, now that has passed down in my family. I can go back 3 generations. And I can go back 3 generations of that happening. So when I had my children, I had an important person in my kid's life who took on the role as a godparent for my children. That person was the person that showed me. That was the first time that I had ever seen affection. Like I had given birth to my son, and this person would love on my son, like kiss him and hug him, and I remember being 19 years old, like looking at her showing this amount of affection to him, and I'm thinking, gosh, that's weird. Weird.
It was weird. It was new because it was something that we were not accustomed to.
It felt weird though. It felt weird seeing it. Like I remember the emotion of, that's weird, but I liked it. Like I liked the way he responded to it. I liked the way she responded to him. Like it just seemed like the sweetest thing ever that was happening. So she would do it when she was present, and when she was gone and it was just me and him, then I would practice it, right? And it was literally like practicing. I'm being totally like,
because you didn't know.
I'm so honest.
Let me try this and see how this works for me, because it's something that you've never done.
Exactly. So even breastfeeding was like this weird thing for me. Like she was like, you gotta breastfeed him, and just like putting him on the breast and all that was like this weird thing. It was this weird sensation because I don't know what my expectation was when I had children. Like I didn't know what was supposed to happen. I didn't know if they, I didn't know what it's like being a baby. Like you come out independent. I don't know. I know that my mother had never shown me affection for the 4 years that I was with her. I don't remember any affection. Out of all the memories that I have of her, they're all of domestic violence and her being depressed and all of those things and beatings. Okay, because when we got in trouble, we got beat. And so that's what I remember. I don't remember her ever hugging me, kissing me. I also remember watching her a lot. Like I used to stare at her and observe her. As to probably why I have so many memories of her is because I used to be so observant of her. With that said, I then now have this child that I now see somebody else giving affection to. I like it. I want to give it, but I don't.
It's just awkward trying to give it.
It's awkward.
Because I never really got it.
I had never gotten it. It was so awkward. So I learned and I liked it. So before you knew it, the affection was happening. And then with Sydney, and then with Simone, like Simone got more than all of the kids because Sebastian is, we call him all the time. He was literally our test child. And then Sydney, when she was born, shortly after she was born, 6 months into it, we found out that she was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis. So she was then our special child with, dealing with her surgeries and her tumor growths and all that type of stuff. So she became that child where affection was something that had to happen because she thrived off of affection because of her illness. But the person that gave her, there was another person, I'm not naming names for various reasons, but there was another person that was in her life that really gave her a lot of affection in her formative years. Then Simone came, and Simone was my baby. Like, this is my project all by herself.
Does that kid look just like her?
No, it's had nothing to do with that. I was going through a really hard time in our marriage, and Simone was born out of that, and literally she became my everything that I wanted to do. All the love, all the everything was poured into that child. As to why she's so rotten and independent and does whatever she wants, cares about don't care what anybody say or think about her. It comes from literally just no boundaries with her. It was just like, you are it. Like, there's nothing that can stop you. There's no judgment. She really was born out of that. So go ahead.
Charity said, I had a family meeting, made them understand that the lack of hugs and hearing I love you, how it affected me. Now if we hanging up or leaving, hugs and I love yous are heard like I made them understand what I needed. Now,
that's beautiful,
Charity, I am grateful that you did that because you're not by yourself. I have probably said I love you now more
as my kids got older
than anything. I say I love you because I was watching today.
You gotta speak.
I was watching. I forgot the movie with Martin Lawrence and what's the name in it? Thin line between love and hate. Don't say I love you if you don't mean it. So I understand that, but now that I'm older, because even my children, it's strange for them to hear I love you from me, or I'm grabbing them and hugging them, because I didn't do that when they were growing up.
And it's awkward. You can tell even now, like, they're like, Dad. Like, they're so used to it. They're so used to him not, that it's awkward that he does.
Right. And I'll kiss their face, and it's like, that. Can you back up? But I do that more now than I ever had, because I want them to do their children like I am doing them, even as adults. But if I did it when they were young, it wouldn't be different. It wouldn't be difficult right now.
Yes.
So it would be a whole lot easier.
Anjanelle that says that Simone is my mini me. She and people say that all the time. She is, but literally, like, it was the timing. Simone was born when I was 23 years old. Had just turned 23. She was like this. She like mirrored my relationship with my mother, and it's something that I didn't want. I didn't want her to not have all of that, and I had Simone to myself. Like, nobody bothered me with Simone. Like, Simone was literally my little 7-pound baby that literally just belonged to me. So I got to experiment. There was no more experimenting at this point. I knew that I wanted to give love. I knew that I wanted to give affection, and I got to give it all to her. The problem is she got so spoiled, and that's a whole nother story with that. But she got showered. She didn't know the reason for it, but she got showered with everything that I wanted to be. As a mother, she got showered with it. Okay.
So Marshall says, absolutely true. I made a vow that I will always tell my kids that I love them because I didn't get too many I love yous from my mom or dad. I knew they loved me. Yes, Pastor. It was understood. Yeah. It's understood.
And enough of that. Enough of just understanding.
Let's break that cycle.
Exactly.
Because kids now need affection. They need to feel it. They need to know it. They need to see you express it. That's something that you're going to have to move out of your comfort zone and start doing. I don't care how old you are. You're never too old. As long as you're on top of the ground, then you got a chance at it.
Yeah. And you got to try it. what it is, even when it's awkward, you gotta try it. And a lot of people don't like to try it, but it goes back to you understanding why wasn't it okay? Why wasn't I love yous like the normal thing to do? Now I've seen a family that said I love you all the time and embraced each other, and I see how healthy and confident those kids are.
Right.
I lacked confidence a lot because I didn't have that. And that's so unfair for parents and grandparents to put that on their children because of what they went through.
Right.
I watch now, and I'm sure my daughter-in-law is totally okay with me sharing this, but even with her, I've watched for her. It's hard with her for her children, my grandbabies, because she didn't get it. And I know because I know her great-grandmother, I know her grandmother,
right.
I know her mother, and I watched them exist around each other, and there wasn't a whole lot of affection given, and now she struggles. And so now she's starting to, because I am obsessed with my grandkids. If y'all don't know,
so it's
by
like
now,
you kiss them in the face, you kiss them in the mouth, you kiss them on the head.
they
just
get kissed.
and
Like,
when they come here, it's
that's all
like
they want. They go like,
okay, they're
this is my Savannah.
mouth open, be like,
She
girl,
just
back up.
take it. She didn't have a choice. When she was born, Olivia. We did it with her, but Savannah was the one when she was born. She just fell into it. So she just she whined about it when she was like a few days old, and then I guess she figured, hey, I'm not gonna win with these people. Like, these kisses are gonna be here. I just need to accept it. So she would open her mouth, lift her neck, and just let us do it.
Just love them.
And she still does it to this day, and she's 4.
So Valencia Norwood says, I seen the way my ex-husband's family showed affection, so I made sure I incorporated that in my family. Because of what you saw and because of what you wanted, you have decided, you made a decision to incorporate that into your family. Nothing's wrong with it.
And I would ask you, Valencia, how did it feel? If
When you first
if
did
that
it.
wasn't how you grew up, then how did it feel to incorporate that? What was your emotion? Like, was it awkward? Did you feel awkward with seeing it or demonstrating it? Because not only does that affect your children, it affects your relationship with your spouse.
Right.
Because if you don't hug each other and you don't kiss each other and you're not affectionate with each other, I learned as an adult that I am the most touchy-feely person ever. Like, I communicate with touch.
And when she don't touch, I know something's wrong.
Then
what's wrong? I can feel in the middle of the night if she's mad and she snatches her foot off of me, then I know, okay, what to do.
I communicate touch.
Or let's say it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning and we're asleep, and if she's kind of irritated and my foot touches her, she'll snatch, and I don't know it even in my sleep. So that's kind of like...
That's because I touch so much. Like, I'm that type of person now, and that's how I communicate.
Michelle Saul says, it's weird because my mom and dad wasn't lovey-dovey with me. But I shower my son with hugs and kisses, and we snuggle with him while watching movies. That's what I do with my grandchildren. My grandchildren, they'll come, they'll lay on me, will lay in my arms, watch TV. Savannah, Olivia always has to be leaning on me or something like that. And I don't feel weird. I don't. Because now I've gotten so accustomed to it, that's just what they do.
Simone said it's quiet. What does that mean, Simone? Tell me what's happening. Can you hear or not hear?
Let's see. Charity says, I even tell my friends I love them. My best friend didn't get the love that I pour into her as a child, and it was weird to her, and now that she has children, watching her show them affection. See, that's what I'm saying, because you have to change the narrative. And if the narrative is constantly changed by you, and you're giving what you didn't get, then it does something. It absolutely does something to you. Now, she's trying to check and make sure that
I'm just going to pull it up
working.
Closer because
okay,
it's the sound. Okay.
Okay, can y'all hear? We want to make sure
Okay.
the sound that y'all can hear now. Okay.
Okay, so we just pulled the computer closer, so hopefully the volume goes up there. We turned it up, but it's because the computer is far from us.
Marlene says my grandson is like that, and he's 14. That's good because they have to learn that as they grow. When they become adults, it won't be difficult. There won't be an affectionate problem in a relationship as they get older because this is something that they learned as a kid, which is good. I think this is good. Let's see. Charity says she's getting better. I'm constantly praying for her and that she opens up and not keep that family trait. Right. You got to open up because that kind of family trait begins to cripple your self worth as you get older. You always have to affirm your children, which is something that, though we may not have gotten it, I mean, for the longest, I thought my name was Little MFer because that's what my uncle always called me. But I'm just saying.
Those were terms of endearment, though.
That was not endearment.
You didn't feel
at that time. No.
He was arguing at you?
No,
fussing
that was not. One of my uncles would cuss me out because I cut down his weed. Well, look, things happen in the family. Sorry, that's trauma.
Okay, he's going. I'm like, where are we going with this?
You have to be affectionate with your children. Don't do what your parents or your grandparents did to your parents. Change the narrative. Break the cycle with your kids. Break the cycle with your all of us that are grandparents, it's very easy to spoil your grandchildren because in a sense it's like your grandchildren give you a second opportunity to redo what you didn't do with your children. Am I right? Am I right about it?
Simone said he has PTSD. Can't you see it, Simone?
Whatever.
It's like he'll be talking about something.
Get off
and
my phone.
He goes off in this tangent.
Whatever.
Because he's having a moment. Like he's literally having his triggers.
Whatever. Everybody needs affection.
Right. The lack of affection does affect you.
It affects you.
And people will say that it don't, but it does affect you. You need hugs, you need kisses. You need love. You need to be told that you are loved. It's not enough to provide just a roof over your head and clothes on your back and food in your belly. That is okay because that is the thing that is a part of parenting. But the love and affection, you gotta feel if you want that to translate down to the next person. If it doesn't, then it doesn't translate.
Right.
Like honestly, we struggle in the beginning with when it comes down to love and hugging or showing this person affection. We struggle as a couple. We struggle because at first we can go days or even weeks without touching. Like that literally was like you come together for intimacy, but that was it.
Right.
After intimacy, there was no touch, no nothing throughout the day. Like you just didn't do it, and it wasn't required. I didn't feel no type of way. He didn't feel no type of way. It was just we were working and existing and doing what we're doing, and that was it.
Right. Valencia said it felt wonderful to me because I always wanted that, but no one really lived that way until I seen his family. I absolutely love it.
Isn't it
you don't
wonderful?
know you want it until you see. Once you see it,
once you receive
feel it and get it, then it's like, oh, this is what I got. What I'm doing right now, I'm reaching back. I'm not reaching forward. I'm reaching back to even tell. When I talk to my mother, before I hang up the phone, I say I love you. When I talk to my aunts, they on the phone, they on here now. I say I love you because I know that may be something that they need. That they may not have gotten. Am I right about it? I don't know.
You're right about
it. I'm just telling you. So once you get it, you got to take it backwards and help those that didn't get it, that they can turn around and get what they need and then be able to shower it on their own siblings, offspring.
Siblings, your children, your spouse.
Whomever.
And having the awkwardness in doing it is okay. You keep doing it until you get used to it,
right.
And that's really
and after
what
a while,
it
it just become a part of the fabric of who
right.
you are.
Exactly.
Marlene said it's very affectionate with both of my kids, but as they grew, I seen them. They don't like to show their feelings.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta then reach back and continue because it's something that you can't ever stop doing. Because if it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta break that within them because it'll then be passed down to their children.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you unlock that thing and let affection be a normal part of your relationship. See, affection shouldn't be this thing that we're trying to do now, which is so sad. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be. Affection should be a
we're
normal
in our 40s
part.
and 50s, and we're now talking about what we should have always gotten as a kid.
It should have already been.
But we didn't have it.
We sit around and have conversations like, what would we have been? Like, we're pretty amazing people now.
We'd have been.
But
if we had us as parents, no shade. I'm just saying. If we had us as parents, we'd be some bomb people.
Like, if we just received love and affection and hugs and kisses and I love yous and I'm so proud of you, you know, if we received that all the way through, like, how amazing would that be? But we are here to just share, like we said, we are not to, you know, if you need to see a therapist, see a therapist.
Go see your therapist.
Sometimes you have to work through some trauma as a result of that.
Right.
All of this is not because, sometimes it's because something has happened that prevented that from happening.
Right.
And so sometimes you have to reach back and then it needs to take a professional person. I am a therapist. However, I am not offering that type of advice on here because you'd have to pay me for those services. So we're not doing that. And you have to sign a contract and all that stuff.
And ain't nothing free but trouble.
So we're not doing that type of thing here. However, we are giving our personal experiences. And with that, I'm saying that sometimes you may have to reach for a therapist, reach back, have a conversation with therapists to unlock some of that trauma, to figure out why, you know, that thing is happening in your family. I did the research on my family to find out why, and I know why, because we're all the same. Even my cousin, my boy cousin Sean, who I love to death, he has the same issue that I have because we all grew up the same way. None of us, we really function independently of each other, and we did not shower. We say, I love you now all the time. We're like, I love you, cousin. I love you too, cousin. I love you, cousin. I love you more, cousin. We do this stuff now because we realize that our family screwed us up. And we missed it. No, I'm serious. No, I'm talking about me and his, you know, our family. The Moore family. The Moore Brown family, like, screwed us up. Like, we're really jacked up. And so we then pass that on, and I don't want that for my children. I don't want that for my children, and I definitely, my grandchildren, I had a conversation with the girls. They spent the night on Friday, and I had a conversation, and we were talking about, my husband mentioned that we have poor man's burritos, and they were asking me about the burritos, like why we call them poor man's burritos. And I explained, like, when I was homeless, the person that I was living with, shout out to Ty, you know, we had no money. So we would scrape together money, and it would be refried beans, these cans that used to be like 50 cents a can. We would get ground beef, yes, the fatty ground beef. It was just whatever we could afford.
If you was poor, you still had ground beef.
Enchilada sauce, the packets that was like 25 cents, and you would season it really well, and then burrito shells and cheese, and we would call that poor man's burritos. But it would feed our belly, and it would make you so full that you could have one a day, and you would be okay. So I was having this conversation with them, and Olivia said, and Savannah was like, so what do you mean? Why were you homeless? And I'm like, well, and I breezed over it, like, oh, because I didn't have parents.
That opened up a can.
And she's like, what do you mean?
Who doesn't have parents?
Like, what do you mean? And then I explained it to them, and then I thought, how amazing is it for my grandchildren to know that they have great-grandparents, they have grandparents, they have parents, they have all these aunties and uncles and everybody around them, their immediate family. We are all affectionate. So all of us, they getting all this love and affection. And I told my husband, I said, I gotta live for the next 18 years because I gotta see these kids grow up. Like, I wanna see what they become. With all of this and all of us in place and giving them like the prescription for success and a healthy self-reflection or, you know, self-actualization. We're giving them all the tools for that. What is it going to be for them to grow up like that? I know society sucks, but when you get it with your family, like...
That's where you should get it from in the first place.
How amazing.
My mother said, it's easy for me to say I love you now than when you guys were kids. It's easy to say it now. Yeah. She said it's easier to say it now than when we were kids.
Yeah. And that's beautiful, Mama Joyce.
So she says, I hear it more from Dusty, from you and Dusty, than the girls. So she hears it more from the boys than she does the girls.
That's interesting. So it would be really interesting is to see what they feel about it. Like what is preventing that from them, and whether or not they have done the work to now show that affection towards their children, and are they able to show it to one another,
right?
And then are they able to, send it back to you and their family? That's an interesting concept.
Anjanelle said, I got to live another 18 years because I'm going to be grandmother again.
See, you gotta see it,
you
right?
want to see what's going to be the turnout, what's going to happen. And hey, that's what I say. Look, once you start changing the narrative, breaking stuff down that has been traumatic, cutting off stuff that does not feed your family, build them up, encourage them, then you start putting in what needs to be, what they need. You want to hang around long enough to see what happens.
Because the legacy,
Absolutely.
the legacy, people all we're big on legacy in our family, but the legacy that we're wanting to give our children and our grandchildren is a healed generation. We want to give them healing.
Baby. Go ahead, Monty.
we're wanting to give them healing. We want them to be healed. We want to fix all the stuff that is screwed up in our what we came up through. Repair what we can repair, and then give them the best possible start. That is the legacy. That is the work that we are doing. Is it hard? Yes, because we're having to backtrack and deal with some stuff, handle some stuff, and then push it forward so that we're able to lay this foundation for them. Now, we kind of, we wasn't the best when it came down to our children.
We did what we could at that age.
Because we were still learning.
Dealing with what we were dealing with. We were still learning. We still had traumas of the past. So
the boys,
and let me say this.
here.
While I got y'all on here, while y'all listening, listen. I'm going to say this. Stop kids, you children that have parents. Your parents did the best they could with what they were given. Don't hold them accountable for something that you need right now that they didn't get themselves and they couldn't give to you. Let it go. Deal with it.
And then your parents, if you are still alive, if you have breath in your lungs, do better.
Do better.
This is the society now. You ain't got no excuses. So I'm not letting nobody off the hook.
Right.
And I don't let anybody off the hook when it comes down to conversations with me, therapy with me, or whatever. Enough of this. That is the problem. We gave so many passes to our past generations of people, and it just kept passing down. Enough of that. Deal with it. Look at it face to face. Stand in the mirror. Look at yourself and face it. And fix it.
Right.
There's too many resources out there for you not to be able to fix it so that you can heal the next generation that's under you. Stop screwing up the next generation. Stop doing it. It's not fair. It's not fair to keep screwing them up because you didn't get it. Okay, I heard my daughter-in-law's grandparents and great-grandparents say that to her. They said, my mama didn't give it to me. The next one said, well, I
raised mine, you gonna raise yours. No.
They did the same, and it passed all the way down. And I heard them say that to her. She was 17 years old, getting ready to have my granddaughter. And they said the same thing to her. Well, ain't nobody helped me. Okay.
Get over it.
Now stop.
I don't care if you had received a thimble full of love. Just because you got a thimble full of love, it doesn't mean that they don't need or deserve a foot tub full of it. They need it. Give it.
Exactly.
Give what you got. Give what you got. There's nothing wrong with giving it. Give what you got. And then explain to them why you're giving what you got or why you're responding the way you do. Because if they just understood what happened, why you can't, why you don't, maybe why you won't, then they won't expect so much from you. That's why I try to teach young people that I deal with. Please, those of you who just grown up in church and you've been in church all your life and this and that and this thing, and you just know your parents as this, please don't wake them people up, because you're going to wake up people you ain't never met. And you're going to be shocked when they deal with you behind stuff that has been traumatic to them.
They need to deal with the trauma. Get help.
They got to deal with it. Still.
Get help.
Just trying to tell you.
He still
not trying to cover it up.
He still comes from the old school thinking.
No.
Like he got.
No, I'm not. Look,
you know
I'm
what
out
I'm
the
saying?
box. I'm just trying to say.
No.
You still got to deal with it.
No excuses.
I'm saying you got to deal with it.
Okay, go ahead.
They still got to deal with it. But what I'm saying is, be okay with just dealing with it. Yes, it may be painful. Yes, it may be difficult. Yes, it's putting you on the spot. Yes, it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be.
It hurts.
Because anything that you're trying to break is going to be painful.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to make you dig. It's going to make you pull up some stuff. It's going to make you cry. Absolutely, it is. It is going to make you... what I'm saying is, if you have to do it with a therapist, do it with somebody that can support you through the process. If it's going to be extremely painful for you and you feel like you can't handle it, then yes, get somebody to coach you through it. Absolutely. Don't do that by yourself if it's going to be hard like that. Other than that, some of this stuff we can do on our own. He don't have no choice. We process everything. I know, I'm a nurse, and I realize how your mental health affects your emotional health affects your physical health. So I'm a wellness person all the way around, and so I make him dig. Like, he has to dig no matter what. He responds a certain way that seems off. It's like, we need to talk. And he like, I just need to walk.
I don't feel like it.
I just need to walk.
I had to do that this week.
Walk in
I
process.
walked 3 miles. Didn't want nobody to leave me alone so I can process. Because I realized that what happened triggered something from childhood. So I had to walk it out.
Walk it out.
That's why I'm accustomed. I do stuff myself. If I want to do something, I go do it. I don't bother nobody. I ain't asking nobody to do nothing because I have a hard time with rejection. So, okay, fine. No, I ain't mad. Yeah, I'm mad.
He's the first
but
15
I gotta
minutes.
deal
I ain't
with
mad.
it.
I ain't mad. And then,
but I gotta deal
what,
with
I'm
it.
mad. Right.
I feel some sort of kind of way.
Yeah.
I may not be mad, but I
I
was mad.
Yeah.
There's some I was upset because I still have to process rejection.
Yeah. And then he realized that feeling of rejection because of what he was dealing with has trickled down throughout many of the years in our marriage. It's that thinking when it's not rejection at all.
Right.
Now, mind you, I'm not the one that did it. Don't blame me for this one. No, I didn't. However, I didn't trigger him this time. However, the thing is...
But I realized it was a trigger.
Exactly. A Charity said, I knew the path laid before, said one thing because of the way this lack of affection was set up. I knew that it was more to life than what man said was mine. Right. Mm-hmm. I went to my mother's women's of the church and not to the street. I refused to be a statistic of the day. You're beautiful. You're handsome. And I'm proud of you. Need to be said as well. Yes. So that we don't go to the streets to get it.
Those are affirmations.
Because you will get it from the streets.
Those are affirmations. We did we went to a, it wasn't a live, but I guess it was. Young man was on the phone. He disguised his voice, and he's a pimp out of Las Vegas. And what he said was why he got the girls that he got. While they were tricking and doing what they were doing, he said simply because the fathers wasn't around know how to affirm their daughters in the first place. Because if all I got to do is tell them how beautiful they are and buy them some tennis shoes, get their nails done, get their hair done and all that, then if you did that, then they wouldn't be coming to see me. Now that was an eye-opener because what it did is it pointed out that there was a breakdown in the family. It was a breakdown in the relationship because they started seeking something that was already in the family in the first place. They started going outside to get what they wanted, and then they end up in the position that they're in. So I'm saying you have to be responsible and take the authority of the position that you have. Every girl needs affirmation from her father because her father is her first boyfriend.
First love.
Or her first love. Once she starts going out and she's looking for a man to marry or boyfriend, she's going to look for someone like her father. Same way it is with a boy. He's looking for someone who has the attributes of his mother. That's it.
Valencia said, I love the way my boys show affection to their boys. It make my heart warm every time. Isn't that the wonderful thing? I see my son with his kids, and I tell you the truth, it's with his girls. I actually took some pictures. I have some pictures of him with his girls, and they are just so beautiful. Like, it makes your heart just, I don't know, it overflows. It makes my heart warm every time to see it. Also, not having affection also affect our relationship with God. Exactly. Because we don't know how to be intimate. We don't know what that feels
Right.
like. Or once it happens, you feel very uncomfortable.
Right.
Charity said, but we have to do better than them. Exactly. They did what they could. Charity, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell them. What
Right.
they were given, but we had to fix it for the next group. That's not fair. It is not fair.
It's
and
not
I don't
fair,
let
but
anybody, if you're still alive, I don't let you off the hook. And I don't care how old you are.
it's not fair.
Do better.
But you got to hold people responsible for doing what they can do. You can do something. You can do something.
Yeah, we always, and I the thing is, we're always letting people off the hook. We always want this thing where we're just, we're making excuses.
You
It's
wanna
like
make
we want
excuses
to
because
understand.
Because we want to be comfortable. And we don't want to be made uncomfortable.
Forget being comfortable.
You got to be uncomfortable.
Some of us
to change
have
the
failed
narrative.
our children. Period.
That's all.
Sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I wasn't the great mother
Wasn't the
that I could have been.
May not
I didn't
been,
have the
may
tools,
not have
but
been
I wasn't the
father,
great. I wasn't the
whatever it
greatest
may have
father.
been. Okay. Now
what?
move on from that. Now change. I wasn't the best.
And get
now
some
change,
tools.
I wasn't the greatest.
There's some tools. Get some tools. There's enough people, even on the internet, that's talking about stuff. If you need to learn how to do stuff, and then a lot of it is practice. Like, you gotta just try it.
That's all.
Try, even through your awkwardness. My husband does not stop kissing his boys, even though they be pushing him and dad, whatever.
And
let me tell
grown.
you. But I watched Sebastian come in here yesterday, give him a massage while he was sitting on the couch talking, rubbed him on his head and whatever, and I just looked at him. And that's so funny because Sebastian be the main one, like, move, Dad,
Can you
move, Dad.
back up?
No, but I watched him. He
Now-
walked right in the door, and that was the first thing that he did. And I just looked, and I didn't say a word.
And you know what? I didn't reject it.
No, he didn't. And that's there. Here's another thing. He typically, just like he say, the boys be like, no, he would do the same thing. Move. He called their ham, crab.
Get your cabbage collectors
Cabbage
off me.
collectors is what he calls the kids. Their hands.
Get
But you know what that
cabbage
is?
collectors.
Calling that's a mask. That's just a mask because it makes him uncomfortable. So he say that to be funny, but it's also a mask because he's uncomfortable.
Right.
Yesterday he actually sat in it, and I just watched him. I didn't draw any attention to it. And mothers, make sure you don't do that. I didn't draw no attention to it.
Just take a mental note.
I just took a mental note, and I said, look at this. This is so funny that the first thing that he did was show this level of affection towards his father. His father then sat there and received it, and look at this interaction between the two. I'm telling you, as long as you are alive, you can do it. And now he is now doing that with his children. That's it. That is the healing. That is the healing that you want to see, and you want that passed down from generation to generation. And that's just what I'm saying. Crystal said, Ferdy and myself said that there are things that we would definitely like to do different than the way we grew up. Exactly. We are definitely going to tell our daughter how beautiful she is, loved and smart. Showering her with affection is a must. Kiss on that baby.
Right.
Kiss
Because
on that baby.
She won't be leaving her house to go outside to get what you're already putting in her at home. You got to do this at home. And once you do it at home, then there ain't no reason to go looking nowhere else for what you're getting already.
And forget for anybody else. It's for you. To reach that point of self-actualization, you have to have esteem. Esteem is built into you. If y'all don't know, I study Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is my favorite theorist. And he tells you that you have to have these steps to get to self-actualization. If you don't have safety and security. First, he says your basic needs have to be met. That's the lowest of the pyramid. Then you have to have safety and security. You have to be secure in your environment, that nobody's going to touch you inappropriately. Nobody's going to harm you. And then you reach into this point of love and belonging, that I belong here, that this is the place that I'm supposed to be. And then it's your esteem. That means there is rewards. I'm so proud of you, baby. You did so good today. Look at you. Look at what you're doing. I affirm my kids all the time. I don't care what it is. Simone, her little songs, Jesus, help me take the wheel. And I'll be like, girl, that is it. Jesus. Can you do a clean version? So I can promote it. But that is it. But the girl, that beat, girl, yes, absolutely. Sebastian, same thing. I was telling him the other day, you are such a good father. Like, I love to see you with your kids. Sydney can dress, girl. You can't tell me nothing about my baby. Dress it. My twins are so handsome. Look at them, little styling and doing their little stuff. Sai, we call her Sai. Sierra, I just love her personality. She is a girl all to herself, does her own thing, be wilding out. But I listen to her little crazy stories that she be telling me, and she still young, y'all. You gotta pray for her. She's still young, and I let her go. I sit and listen to her.
But we affirm. They're not gonna go looking for what they need anywhere else other than home. Because if you can't go home, then you can't go nowhere. On that note, who's last?
That's it. We had
all right.
My cousin. Now y'all know that I'm doing this whole thing. I did ancestry, so I'm gonna have to do a private one. I did ancestry DNA, and the connections are being made. So my cousin is on here. Anyway, I'll shout her out. I'm gonna do a whole thing, but I love it. I love that now I am meeting my paternal side of the family. Still have not identified, not as of yet. I'm very, very close of finding who my biological father is.
We're going to let y'all know.
Remember, I told you, it is not for me. I don't know at this point if it's for relationship. It's definitely for me to continue this legacy and provide this for my grandchildren, that I give them this sense of wholeness. And that's what it is. I could also give a shout out to my husband's dad, my father in love. Like, I love him so much. And I'll give you this story. It's gonna make me cry. Oh my God. Okay. I do not want to cry, but I'll tell you this. I had a book signing in Dallas. And this man is amazing. So he came to the book signing, and I got up to say what the book was about, right? My portion. It was everybody down the line. He stood up and started cheering for me before I even finished my whole thing or whatever. He was already cheering for me. As I was speaking, I was looking at him because the look on his face was such this look of just like this proud father. Like he made up for every moment that I felt like I needed a father in my life. Like, he totally made up for it. He was so proud of me and barely even know me, right? But so proud of me and so encouraging. When I was done, he came up to me and he just loved on me and hugged on me and, oh my gosh, and just told me how amazing I was and how proud he was of me. And I'm telling you, my heart was like, you couldn't tell me nothing. And what was crazy was, I have not felt that level of confidence in my entire life. I felt like, and he's not even my father, and I felt like there was nothing I could not do. Like, I felt like I could conquer the world. After him saying all of that, I felt like I could conquer the world. Just imagine. I told my husband, we always have in this, just imagine. I just imagined if I had a father in my life that gave me that. The years that I spent struggling with my confidence, I wouldn't have had that, because that one thing, and I know he didn't think nothing of it because he's just that kind of guy. But it made all the difference in the world. I strutted around there with my red bottoms on and my head up high.
This woman. I just faded in the background.
I strutted around that place like a peacock. You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I'm telling you. And that was such a feeling. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what that's like, I'm telling you, it is something that is special. And I don't care what anybody say. A girl needs to know who their father is. A girl needs to have a father in their life. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying. Now, God has always done that for me because I got a special relationship with Jesus. Just saying. I got it like that with him, so he always gives me that. But to have that tangible, and I know that he allowed me to get it through my father in love, and it was just something special. It was just something that was so affirming and so reaffirming. And anyway, so that's my
Y'all done made us go over our time. It's
that's
7:55.
my side note. All right.
Shoot, Maurice.
All right, that's it. I constantly sought after familiar connections within the church for years. It's hard to find it there, but I'll
we gonna deal with that because that's a whole.
Until I became whole within myself and not having complete family in my home. Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you, because sometimes that can mess you up. It messed us up for a long time.
Right.
You gotta have it within, and you gotta get it from your immediate. So, anyway, that's it.
All right, our
love
time's
y'all.
up. We love y'all. Have a great week. Remember to wash your hands. Wear your mask. Please wear your mask. Protect yourself from somebody else. If you don't care about nobody else, just please. Things are happening. People are wounded. Things are going bad real fast. Just take care of yourself and look out for somebody else.
We love y'all.
Love
too.
you.
Love you.
Have
too,
a great
Charity.
week, and we will see you
Love you
next
too,
time
cousin.
right here on Maddox Marriage Mondays. See you soon.
Bye. He don't know how.